Omkaram bindu samyuktam nityam jayanti yoginaha kamadam mokshadam chaiva Omkaraya namo namaha. Omkaraya namo. Welcome to Satsang. I'm on our new computer. Thanks to all of you for making that possible. So wonderful to see you all. Who wants to leap in the fire behind me?
Throughout this whole journey, madness, whatever we call it, there has been, particularly in the last weeks and months, a huge recontextualization of the past, of seeing the inner perfection in all of the times that I thought were terrible and hated and wanted to be rid of. And something has been coming up, which actually over the last few days there has been an incredible desire to just be in contemplation and quiet and beauty. I think I expressed a little bit of this to you on Thursday, but this morning it felt like a shift happened where all of these memories started surging, not just of the bad times that had been recontextualized into beauty, but actually all of the good times, or times which, at the time I really enjoyed, being on the Mediterranean and laughing with friends and drinking wine and, all of these very, very human things. Is, not moments necessarily of spiritual joy, but very human joys, just moments of satisfaction in having done a presentation well in my old job, and just these very little moments. And it just came to me just before this that the beloved was always there. He was there too. He was there too. And even throughout this this whole thing, this whole spiritual journey, my mind has periodically said, "Oh, okay, yes, because now you really feel this joy. You see where the beloved was during your times of darkness, but now I'm also seeing where he was, not even during my times of darkness, but throughout all of it." And I'm just so grateful, and I'm just incredibly grateful for you and for who you are and for everybody here. So just thank you so much.
Beautiful, Karen. Thank you. It's hard to imagine. And then it becomes clear. All of the spiritual aphorisms and spiritual ambitions and the poetry and all of that becomes a direct experience. It's not that it's no longer metaphorical, it's that now you are metaphorical in it. And this also is human. It's maybe less commonly human, this experience of the divine perfection of all things. Moments past horrible and delightful. A sort of a perfection, a neutrality. And but this also now is human. And this also, where you're looking from now, this also will be transcended. And if you are continually coming back to the posture, the approach that was working, maintain this same posture. It is soften and allow. And this now is the thing that will guide you through all of the different octaves of consciousness. And this is, we know this as a deep humility. That increasingly, it doesn't know humiliation. It's a humility that's rooted in faith, that isn't prideful, doesn't condescend what was. And this humility is a deep, deep gratitude. Oh, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And this is joy. Krishna Priya, what did you call it?
Fragility.
How is it? Fragility. Gratitude, joy, and humility. Fragility. She told me yesterday. Gratitude, joy, and humility. And this is the essence of being and the posture of being. The perfume of being. And remember, no matter how ecstatic or how blissful, no matter how exalted, always a beginner. This too shall pass. ever expanding, ever enlightening. Swami Satchidananda would say, no matter who you think you are, no matter how exalted the experience, rise above. And in this way, there's no end to humility, no end to gratitude, and no end to joy. And increasingly, you are contributing something to the world, to the collective consciousness that is a real service. And so enjoy this, really marinate in it, in gratitude and humility. Watch closely for the one who will sneak in, that will claim it. It will happen. It's not a problem. You don't need to battle with this one. And it's best not to, in fact. But just watch and see the pattern of how what we call ego seems to dissolve. And then we are released into a lighter, more expanded state of consciousness, of being. And then it, in the background, unaware to ourselves even, it reinvents itself, rises from the dead to claim the new experience. It also will call itself Kiran. And so just keep a gentle but vigilant, a softly vigilant sense of this separate self. And I celebrate also with you. And I think all of the Sangha will celebrate each of our victories. Because this is Sangha. And truly understand this. When we can come to a place where we can celebrate the success of another, our success will soon follow. This is the way. It's true. What you used to call envy now is an early indicator that your victory is at hand. You see the victory of another, and you know, in my joy for them, it shall also be mine. This is true. And now you take what would have been envy, notice it for what it is and how it appears. I'm envious. And then reframe it. Understand, this is a sign that I should become ready to receive. And in Sangha, your victory is our victory. Some weeks ago, in the Satsang contemplation, that first meditation, so lovingly, the voice came through, who will be the proof of my existence? And remember, with each of these victories, I think a little celebration is due, but then move quickly into your sobriety. Know that. Know that there is nothing to promote of yourself, nothing to defend of yourself. Because as you shift, it will take the people around you who love you to adjust. You've shot out of orbit into a new orbit, like in the constellation of your relationships. It will take some time for them to adjust, but it will go quickly and easily if you do not promote yourself or you do not defend yourself. Remember this, and also not hiding. And be very aware of this, not hiding is not promoting. You see? These clarifications of you and the world, these reveals always when we attune in it, soon you will forget how it used to feel. And now this is just what it feels to be me, one will say. Yeah. So, but I think it's important for us to share these things in humility as a generosity and an offering, and then it's important for us to celebrate it with the same humility and generosity. And remember also, this isn't an experience. There is a sense of contrast, but it isn't really experience, because what can come can go. This is not that. This is revealing who you are at a more subtle level. Who you are cannot come and go. And now also, in review from this place, you look back on what you might call your life, and you see the perfection. So, know now, as you continue, You must know, if it was then this perfection, it is now. And whatever delight and whatever challenge, whatever comes that is difficult and whatever goes that you will grieve, also the same perfection. And now your great wisdom is the recognition that you have but only to surrender to what is, into what is arising. That the great wisdom is surrender, a total acceptance to what is. You do not need to curate, cultivate, or manifest in this new octave. You simply soften and allow, like this. At any time in our expansion, we can put the brakes on and move out from there in the world, claiming this and that. You sort of enter this new dimension of your awareness. I'm not being sci-fi here. This is just our sense of perceptions, okay? And once you step into it, the door through which you entered will close, and you don't know when you'll come back to it. Whatever you touch in any octave of your experience will touch back. It will touch back. Whatever you reach to possess will possess you. This is the way of it. Always has been. So once you detach, remain unattached. You see? If what you want is liberation, if what you want is the ultimate joy, so many heavens, there is no right and wrong in this also. You be as you wish. It's essential for you and everyone that you practice ahimsa, of course. Nonviolence, which you see is becoming a subtler and subtler. You see that even your very anger is a violence manifest in the mind. So when each time you enter like this, there's something is revealed. You are revealed to yourself in a subtler way. The world appears different by your perception. And now is the time, not from a standpoint of morality or trying to be a good person or trying not to be a bad person, no longer motivated by fear. Now is the time for the yamas and niyamas, the 10 commandments, the precepts. Now is the time for that. As a guide to your own developing wisdom and discernment. Not from a place of fear, like it was, and like it still is for so many. And it has its purpose for this. But now this is to guide you to really cultivate the ultimate joy. To guide you through and around the old echoes of temptation that will reanimate an old world. And when you lose your drishti and wander off, distracted or entertained by something, it's not a problem. Don't make it a problem. Remember, fear is behind. You simply forgive again, detach again. And once you forgive and detach, the new will seem to reveal itself again. The now will reveal itself. Huh? Yeah. Whether this is, for you, each of you now, or whether it's something that's just a seed planted that will come to mind at a time you need it, sometime soon. You. So, especially in satsang, there's never anything that this isn't for me. Huh? It's never true, this. Huh? Every moment is always in this perfection that Kiran mentioned. Every moment, every happening is for you. Good, bad, and neutral is just for your discernment, to sift through the contrasting experiences. Everything is guiding you either away from something or towards something, so that you can navigate with increasing focus on your drishti, your want of wants. Okay.
More and more, I'm not quite clearly seeing this as the satsang as a fire to throw myself and any question into, which is, it's been said before, but it's wonderful to see it like this. And I say that as a sort of a disclaimer to this question, because I can half see that this is what's happening. But the impulse is there to ask anyway.
Remember, as you ask, you offer the question, and you offer the questioner.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I've seen before that that there's a tendency when we approach this precipice that right before the now, to think that how will action arise? How could action arise outside of this mind that is driven by desire and aversion? Once that ends, how could action arise? And I'm standing in a place now where my mind is saying, how could thought or word arise? It seems like, so that's basically what my mind is saying. It seems from where I'm standing now that everything arises out of desire and aversion, not just action, but thought and word. So how could it possibly arise, is what my mind's saying, in the now. And yet, I see others, I see you talking, presumably thinking. And, I've had thoughts myself of, like, at times where it seems like, oh, everything is God. Everyone I see is God. These thoughts don't seem to come from desire and aversion. But still, this question is on my mind. How could anything arise? I'm wondering if we can talk about that.
Very good. How does a baby giraffe just born know to try and stand up? You, even from this place of looking, are aware that things happen of their own accord. Happening happens. Isn't it true? You can look to nature. How does the flower know to close its petals when the sun goes down and open them when the sun comes out? And you think you're excluded from this. But Andrew's right, there is this sense when you come up into that intersection to ego or not to ego. Without fear, without attractions and aversions, without desire and fear, what will I ever do? What will ever happen? Find out. Find out. And you'll also see that the attractions and aversions, the desires and the fears, they become subtler and subtler. And as they slowly dissolve, you will become more and more joyous. Life will become easier and easier. You will come to know the heaven that has always existed in your heart. And it will continue to reveal. It will reveal more and more beauty, and it will also reveal to you the remaining occlusions to even more beauty. So, subtler and subtler desires and fears. And then when all the desires are seen and gently dismissed as distraction, unable to fulfill their promise, they will simply just fall away. And then what will be revealed is the desire of all desires, the want of wants, which is not different than the flower turning to the sun. And fear and desire are the animating forces of the egoic identity. Trans-egoic is less fearful. You could say, just to play with the words a little bit, that you are moving from conditioning to inspiration, from compulsion to inspiration, from addiction to freedom. And ultimately, the you that wonders, what will I do? Well, this one was never the doer. The egoic identity is fueled by conditioning. It's compulsion. And always saying, I know, I'm right. Hmm. The egoic identity is in a state of hypnosis, of past, of program. It's in a trance, asleep. That's why we call this waking up. It's not a problem, actually. Other than to the one who suffers, this one also is in that state of dream. So you could even say that at this intersection, what will I do now? What will animate me? Who's asking is the one still identified as the doer. But come to see that this doer was also part of the hypnosis. It wasn't doing at all. It was simply run on a program. All of its opinions, all of its beliefs, all of its conflicts. And so this question, what now? What will I do? This is the question. But you must come to see the you in the doing. You must come to see that you were never the doer. It was simply a software program you call personality or memory. And now you are at the intersection of bondage and freedom, of not free will, destined to continue compulsively to do and say and think the same things in a repetition, still in a perfection, just as Kieran pointed out to us before. But now you're coming to this place. Compulsion or inspiration? So, okay. So this question also is coming from the one who is confused about its identity. So you offer that up and then you move into the space before the one who asked the question. In this one, you just simply watch and see. If you're wondering what you will do next, sit still and keep quiet and wait. Probably first you'll move to the refrigerator. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay to not also and inquire into, what is this hunger? Huh? Also, this one will also, there will be tremendous peace. Huh? And this peace and this joy, soon becomes boredom. The mind, the ego-identified mind, it likes the dramas, the stories, the distractions, loves it, very uncomfortable without it. So, this is the field of hunger and boredom. Enter with courage. Soften and allow. Allow yourself to be hungry. Allow yourself to eat. I think in this phase, watching very closely, when hungry, eat. Huh? When tired, sleep. Huh? When happy, dance. Huh? No longer compelled by this constant, uh, compulsive pattern of self-improvement. See, can you just be as you are? And then wait and see what, sit and wait. Wait for inspired action. If you really, really want to go all in, wait for the inspiration to serve another. Wait for the inspiration to be of service, to do something not for you. And then also in this inspired service, you will continue to see the remnants of you that is always asking, what's in it for me? And in this question, you'll continue to see the fading echoes of the separate self, the egoic self, which is fear and desire. And happy to see it because now you can also surrender this. Some follow-up?
So I was never the thinker or the speaker either. There's so much nervousness in asking this, even though the question is obvious and the answer is obvious. That's all.
Well, I think the obvious question and answer is who's speaking now, but let's look a different direction, just briefly. Who was the speaker and the doer? Who was it that had your tongue? Who was the speaker of your opinions? And the actor acting out your beliefs? What was it? And do you really want to be free of this? Really, really want to be free of it? Yogananda says, are you now willing to trade salt for sugar? Are you really now willing to trade fear for faith? Truly willing. Not just as some poetic contemplation about I and me and mine. The answer is inevitably no, not ready, not willing. It's okay. It's okay. And you cannot serve two masters. You can't serve fear and faith at the same time. You must be of one mind, merged, without boundary. No, you must. It's not true. You can be what you like. Be of one mind. One heart. This is not the one heart that you have heard before in spiritual language. This is the one now being offered, opened into the direct experience of one heart. This is now. It's not a reference to something you've heard before. One mind, one heart. One heart mind. There's no fear here. And if fear is seen in it, it's not a problem. It is not afraid. Let's say, is not afraid of fear. From this one heart mind, from this stillness and this silence, speaking and doing arises, moves from it, in it. It isn't something that really can be comprehended by the egoic mind. But softening into it, it can now be experienced. You'll know it because you'll become aware of a great space. Like right now, the space between you and your computer or your phone. Bring that into full attention. This space that you're bringing your attention into was there, always there. But when you're on a screen or watching TV, or the mind goes right, forgets the space, goes right into, locked on the object of focus. Become aware of, as you're looking, aware of the space between you and me. Become aware of the whole room that you're in. And become aware of even the room that's behind you. And now you see that what you're perceiving are objects in space. This is a very powerful practice. And I encourage you to try it day in and day out, for some months, in fact. And because what this is how the mind is. The mind is an open space that thoughts move about in. Contents of mind. But so mesmerized by the contents, we lose the container. We lose the sense of the field on which the play is happening. Infatuated by the objects. You say, my thoughts. When you become aware of the field of mind and the thoughts within them, you will wonder how this my of thoughts arose. And in this, you will see fear and not be afraid of it. You will see the doer of yesterday. You'll see the perceiver of the doer of yesterday. And you now will be the field itself. A shift in identity. One that you will not regret. So all of these things that you are in contemplation of, in inquiry about, know that you are aware. It's already true. In order for you to say it, you are aware of it. And how does, we were asking this the other day, how does thought arise in mind? Thought arises in mind. Thought somehow becomes my thought. How is this possible? My thought then becomes me. By what? By what? How is this possible? You have only ever been aware. And you just move into this. You move into this the space containing subject and objects, the space containing the subjects and objects of your thought, reflective thought. You're aware of the conversation you're having with your boss as you drive on your weekend vacation. Subject and object in mind, pretending to have a conversation, and somehow you're identified. You see? So, tune into the space around things. And then you also can tune into the space within things. You will come to see how empty you already are. Empty in a way that is so gloriously full. I think I told this story recently. Up at Yogaville Ashram, with Swami Satchidananda, they had a murti built out of bronze or something of his bust. No, it was his whole self, actually. He's sitting in lotus. And he came, it was finally delivered, and he came to inspect it. And he lifted it up by the knee. And he said, it's hollow. And immediately they thought, oh, we should have gotten, spent more and gotten the... And he said, just like me, empty on the inside. Universes contained within. Empty, empty, empty. But it's already true. It's already true for you. It's just that the focus of attention has always been on the objects. The focus of attention has always been on the thoughts themselves. So much so that to come into awareness of it seems very difficult. To detach from thought. To see your rightful place that you've always been as awareness of thoughts. It seems like such a struggle for such a time. And truly, you'll come to see more and more, the real miracle is not freedom. It's the most natural, obvious, and simple thing. The real miracle is how any of us ever felt bound. So all of these practices, awareness, subject-object, spatial awareness, mindfulness practice, contemplation, inquiry, selfless service, yoga asana, breath work, pranayama, all of these things are to lead you from where you think you are to where you have always been. And no need to take this as a challenge. Certainly don't take it as a criticism. The wise one will understand this. This is good news. The ego will have the tendency to hear these things and feel diminished by it. It's just a trick of the ego. Always find, it gets subtler and subtler. And always gently find the separate I sense that says, I think. Says, I will do this, I won't do that. Yeah. The honest truth of it is you're already free, you just don't know it yet. Okay. Each time we are moved into a more detached, a more joyous state, it's a very good time to be vigilant without being judgmental. It's a tricky thing. Vigilance it just gets so conflated with so many things, but means pay very, very close attention to all the things, your thoughts, other people, all experiences, echoes of interpretation of things that will invite you into the old identity, invite you back in. It will come for you. And what was healed will be unhealed. You must dare to now not look back. Doesn't mean physically go away from the people that knew you. Doesn't mean this. It means stay detached. I've often heard it said, detach with love. Not with disdain, not with contempt, not with a sense of condescension, with love. But stay detached, stay unattached. Don't be invited back into the old patterns. Your thoughts have a momentum to them. And you yourself have a habit of identifying with them. And so you'll identify with the echoes, the momentum of the echoes of past thought. And then you'll have the sense of, I had it and lost it. Huh? How did I say it to somebody recently? It's so precious, but it isn't fragile. It's like holding water cupped in your hands. The water isn't fragile. You could drop it, it's unaffected. But it's actually a really wonderful way to think about this. You're holding water in your hands, and you must be gentle. Keep your fingers cupped so it doesn't leak out. But you can't hold it so tight because the water leaks out. Right? It must be precious. But I don't know if you've ever noticed, if you are holding like a full cup of tea, full to the brim, and if you're looking at the cup, trying not to spill it, it's always spilling, isn't it? Every step. But if you actually look at where you're going and stay soft, it won't spill. Worry itself, the clinging, you overcompensate. Well, this is why it spills when we look at it, because the eye sends a signal and the hand overcompensates. So what you have received, you cherish it. It's precious, but it's not fragile. You can't cling to it. But if you forget about it, scratch your ear or point your finger, it will seem lost. No. Having detached, having forgiven, be forgiven, and stay forgiven, stay unattached. The echoes of past identity, as mirrored in past relationships, will try to draw you back in. The memory of that will draw you back in. So you must stay softly vigilant. Something else?
Yes, there's definitely been a sense that now, I think I expressed this last week, more than at any other time, I will need the instruction and I will need the Sangha.
It's very wise.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing because everything, appears the same and simultaneously totally different. The body appears to be the same, but somehow you're a toddler, not really understanding what's going on. Yeah. It's wonderful. Be like a child. Let your tantrums flow freely and be in a wonder about the play. When it comes to the tantrums, it's best to be alone for it, if you can help it.
I've been noticing with the practice of soften and allow, and how you were saying, and we've been talking about just be as you are. If you're hungry, eat. If you're tired, sleep. Being in this phase or stage or whatever you want to call it, of practice. And I notice that a confusion begins to creep in when settling into this in actuality, in experientiality. There's this question of, could it possibly be this easeful and simple? And where's the boundary? Where does it cross over into laziness? Am I actually experiencing this for real? Is this really happening? Or are there old patterns and tendencies of tamasic tendencies coming in? Should I get back into my discipline? Or continue to experiment with where I am now and just observe what's happening without needing to understand or judge? Or so where's it's a dance, and where do I step back in if I do it all?
Yes. Yes. Easy but not lazy. Well, let me just say it this way, very simply. Do your practice. You will see. You'll see exactly that so-called edge of laziness, because it will say, "I don't wanna." Yes, you come to know in yourself, at first subtle, eventually not at all subtle, the difference between what I might call disassociation, which has a kind of, it's like a trauma egoic response to, it's an aversion. And disassociation can put you in a state of a kind of a fugue, narcotic kind of a state of seems better. And it's a natural and beneficial response to stress, extreme stress, that we can go into these kind of disassociated states. So they're good, they're not bad, but it's not for you anymore. And this is, this is a sort of a tamasic, lethargic. There's a tremendous amount of inertia. And this is why sadhana is to pull you out of this disassociative, fugue, narcotic state increasingly into a detached, equanimous state. So know the difference in yourself of what I call disassociative versus detached. It's different. Detachment is alert and alive. It is vital. And the mind is, it's lit up. The heart is open. It isn't sleepy or groggy. And so it's good already to come to the point where you are asking and beginning to notice the distinction between the two. Tamas will not want to do your practice. Lethargy will say, sleep in, don't do your hatha, don't do your pranayama, don't do your karma yoga. So you add a little fire. And so rajas, fire, using the I will, the fire in your solar plexus to move out of tamas. It takes a great resolve and discipline. And only then, on the other side of that, you really move into what is detachment. And there are layers along the way, so it's a progressive, loops progressively. But know this difference so that you can know it in yourself. Just observe, keep observing. Detachment will be light. Disassociation will be heavy, sleepy, tired. I don't wanna. Detachment is, I don't mind. Light, easy. Same thing, doing the same practice. The tamasic ego will always reject rajas. Tamasic ego often claims itself to be sattva. Disassociation, withdrawal, hiding, aversion, pretends to be peace. It's very common. Most easy to see in others first, but most important to find it in yourself. So, this is the despondency of Arjuna. He throws down his sword. And Krishna says, fight. You must fight. Nobody else can fight for you. Being here is proof that you want it. We learn in these phases, and there's tamas, rajas, and sattva at every octave. And so you're always moving through. You see? Do you see? Yes. Yes.
We have just a few minutes, by the way, but yes, I was just seeing that this is a cycle, and it appears to keep. So I think maybe this is what I'm hearing you're saying, these octaves. It appears to come back around, this cycle of approaching the, being really strong and heavy in dedication and sadhana, and breaking through, and then releasing into a new octave of clarity or perception, and then the same thing comes back in. I know for me, this in particular, I come to you with the same question every time. Is this true, or am I moving into what I just shared, the same thing? So I think this is what maybe I'm hearing you saying, this looping. It's a part of my pattern.
Yes. I'm glad you noticed. We become aware of who we think we are by the patterns of thought, feeling, and behavior. How are you when the moon is full? How are you when the forces of mind are strong? You see? You're in the right milieu when there's paradox. Because in this moment, I'm telling you, fight. Fight like hell with everything you've got. And I mean it. Because it's worth it. And in the next moment, I'll say, who's fighting? But for you now, fight. You must fight. And know this, it's true for all of us. The ego will always claim, sattva from the place of tamas. But here, this is the formula for you to know for your own self. Observe it in others, but be quiet about what you see in others. Observe it in others so that you can find it in yourself. This is important. Tamas does not like rajas, is perturbed by rajas. Sattva is not. Sattva is not disturbed by rajas. This is how you can know. And this rajas now is important, not expressed outwardly in relationships in the world anymore, because you've transcended that illusion. Now it's all a game of internal, of stoking your own fire, really investing in your own I will, and I will not. I will wake up at the same time every morning. I will do my meditation. I will do my hatha. And you're fighting for your freedom. And nobody can do it for you. It's not possible. Can show you glimpses but you know the story. It's happened so many times with so many masters and their close students, where the master will show the student the consciousness, share the field, Sometimes it's delivered in Shaktipat. And then the student experiences, and then the master always says, now, you have to make your own way there. Muji would always says, if I could give it to you, then I could take it from you, and you do not want this. You don't want Shaktipat. You don't want it. You find it in yourself, and this way it's yours as you. Costs nothing. And each one of us will come to all of these intersections over and over again. One release leads to the next confrontation of the egoic identity that remains and that is in inertia. You must fight. And persistently. Means not for just 3 days. 90, I think, is the minimum. And this is why you can create a sadhana chart and share it with a teacher, and just to hold yourself accountable, because the inertia is constantly slipping back in. It calls indulgence self-care, self-love. If everyone's doing their best, so this isn't a judgment. It's a call to freedom. In order to be free of it, you must be done with it and sincerely move through it like this. And one day you will laugh and say, what is sadhana? How did that ever seem like it was necessary? And you may just do it all the same. Why not? Until then, you must fight. Yeah. And well, I mean, you're Krishna Priya. We love you and we're here for you. So, isn't it? Isn't it true? In this part of this rajas is we make a decision for what it is that we want. We make the decision, and then we make a commitment to actually follow through on the decision consistently. 90 days, I think, is the minimum. And you decide, and then you do it. And this means no matter what you think or how you feel, you persist to your commitment to do what you decided you would do. Hey, even you decide to start waking up at the time for waking up. Wake up at the time when you can wake up, 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and you wake up and you decide you're going to do some hatha and whatever your practice is. And one day you wake up and you have the flu. I say, put your feet on the floor and get out of bed. Stand up and then go back to bed. At least you've done this, At least you've done this for yourself. Or you have a cold and then you only do 2 sun salutations. Whatever, I mean, I'm not saying that, whatever you decide is what you're going to do, this is what you must then honor. The whole world is making New Year's Eve resolutions, New Year's resolutions, and it lasts for 4 or 5 days. No, you must persist in what you decide to do. This is what you call sovereignty. This is you standing against your programming, your conditioning, your suffering. You take yourself in your own hands, like that. Without this, everything we do is good and we're always doing our best. But in the absence of this, we know that, not as a condemnation, but that we lack sincerity in what we really, really want. And then we know our sincerity by what we say and what we do, most importantly, by what we do. And you really have to want this. And even before that, it's fine. It's good to come to satsang. It's good to be in sangha. There's no requirement for any of this. Nobody's keeping track here. This is for you. There's no enforcement. There's no law. The sangha has no bylaws or nobody's ejected for not having. This isn't that at all. That they call cult. No, this is you for you. Okay. And, we cheer for you, we cheer for Kieran, we cheer for each other. This is what this Sangha is. Okay. Om. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all the beings in all the worlds be happy. For each of us, from this heart to the heart of all in Sangha, may you be happy. I am your great well-wisher. You say this to each one. I say this to each of you. This is the mutual upliftment of Sangha. More than my own happiness, I want yours. More than my own freedom, I pray for yours. And this is divinely inspired selfishness, because I know if I pray with sincerity for your happiness, it is already mine. It's true. Come to find out if you don't know it as the absolute truth. When you pray with all sincerity for the happiness and freedom of another, you have already attained it. In Sanskrit, this is often expressed as Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. I am so blessed by the love that pours through me to you. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who have trespassed against us. And lead us not to temptation, but to deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Om Namo Narayana. Om Namo Narayana. Om Namo Narayana. Love you, love you, love you, love you. If you're happy and you know it, clap one hand. Gragility. Is that right? Gragility. Gratitude, joy, and humility. Give, love, serve. You know, I'm just so delighted to see everybody here. And also, welcome, welcome, welcome. Know that we just all love to see you. There are really such beautiful things happening with this sweet little Sangha, and so we welcome you with a warm, loving embrace, and to come and go as you wish. Okay. Thank you, thank you.